Stories of War. World War III. Based on the song lyrics and poems of John Eaton. Here is Children. The Lost Children. Mark had not expected to come home to silence. The house was still, the air thick with something unnatural. He stepped through the doorway, his coat dripping from the evening rain. The moment he crossed the threshold, he knew something was wrong. "Sophia," he called out, his voice uneasy. There was no reply. The kitchen was dark, the dinner table empty. Then, a soft sound. A sob. He turned the corner and found his wife sitting on the floor, her hand covering her face. His heart stopped. "Where are they?" he asked. She didn't answer. Her shoulders trembled. "Where are the children?" he demanded, his voice rising. She lifted her head, her eyes swollen and red. "The enemy took them," she whispered. Eric staggered back, his breath catching in his throat. No. Not them. Not his children. They had come in the night, like they always did. Trucks rolling down the quiet streets. Soldiers moving through the village with silent efficiency. They took what they wanted: supplies, land, people. And now, the children. No explanation. No warnings. No chance to say goodbye. Eric prayed. To God, to the old spirits, to anyone who would listen. But the only answer was silence. He went to the officials, to the men who wore the uniforms of the occupiers. They did not even look at him. "Your children are safe," one had said, barely glancing up from his papers. "They are being taught properly now. You should be grateful." Grateful. Eric's hand clenched into fists. He had seen the reports. The re-education camps. The endless attempts to erase Estonian names, Estonian language, Estonian history. They wanted to turn them into something else. But he would not forget. He would not stop. Every night, he stood by the window, staring into the darkness, waiting. Hoping. 1 year later. The war had shifted. The world had changed. The men who had taken his children were no longer in power. And then, one day, Eric came home and heard laughter. Laughter? His heart pounded as he ran through the door, fearing that it was some cruel trick. But then he saw them. His son. His daughter. Standing there, looking older, thinner, but alive. "Ada," he whispered. "Johan." They ran to him, their small bodies crashing into his arms. Eric held them so tightly he thought he might never let go. "They tried to change you. They tried to erase you. But you are here. And you are still mine." He looked at his wife, who was crying, but this time with joy. His children had come home. Not all had. But his had. And now, it was time to make sure no child was ever taken again. "For all the children of the world," he whispered. No matter how the world unfurls. He would tell their story. He would make sure no one forgot. And they would speak up for freedom. For all the children of the world.